All right, so we just went through number 57 in the textbook, found the difference quotient for that. Now we're going to do number 58. So 58 has to do with the capital F function. And if we go back into the previous problems, which is what this is, these are referencing, that's going to be this function right over here. F of t is equal to 4 minus t squared. All right, so I'm going to do the same stuff that I did over here, number 58 now. So we're using the capital F function, and it's going to be 4 minus t squared. Okay, so there's our function. And then we have our difference quotient. I'm just going to rewrite all of that over here as well. So it's capital F of t plus h minus capital F of t all over, oops, and I should have had a t over there. So we keep it the same, there we go, all over h. Okay, so let's work on our difference quotient with this. So if you watched the previous video, a lot of the rules are going to be the same here. This function is going to be the same as this one, so we can just literally replace that 4 minus t squared in there. Just remember to watch out and make sure that you put parentheses around it. Okay, so minus parentheses 4 minus t squared. I'll make that a little bit more clear so we can see that it's a minus sign. There you go. All over h. We just got to figure out what this capital F of t plus h is going to give us. So we have the function f of t is equal to 4 minus t squared. So what we're going to do is plug in, wherever we see a t, we're going to replace it with f of t plus h. That's what the function, that's what we're looking for when we're plugging that in to the function. So 4 minus parentheses t plus h squared. See, it's the same, the function is basically the same. The only difference is that we replace the t with t plus h. That's the purpose of plugging that in. Okay, so this is squared, so we're going to have to FOIL or distribute this binomial expression. So let's work with it a little bit. We've got 4 minus, and then it's going to be parentheses t plus h times itself, t plus h. That's what squaring does. Now we're going to distribute everything, so we do t times t, so that's t squared, t times h, so that's plus t times h times t, which is the same as another th, and then h times h, which is h squared. Okay, and then all that's in parentheses because we have that negative symbol out front there. Okay, and then keep going. Let's combine like terms. I have two th's, so this turns into 2th plus h squared, and then that t squared out front. So that's how it looks. Now let's distribute the negative in there. So it's going to be 4 minus t squared minus 2th minus h squared. And since I can't combine any constant values, there aren't any other t squareds, there's no other th's, there's no more h squareds, that means that this is the finished product of the t plus h part of the function. So we're going to replace all of this stuff right here in for this, the f of t plus h. So I'm going to write all that stuff. It might be a little cramped. I didn't really give myself enough space to write there, but I'll try my best. So 4, and then minus t squared, and then minus 2th, and then minus h squared. Just barely fit it in there. Okay. All right. So now we're going to distribute the negative into this part of it, and we get 4 minus t squared minus 2th minus h squared, and then distributing the negative in here. Let's see, negative times 4 is a negative 4, and then negative times the negative is a positive, so that turns into a plus t squared. All right, and then all this is over h. Now let's continue simplifying. So look for stuff that cancels out. We have a 4 and a negative 4. That'll cancel out. We have a negative t squared and a positive t squared. That'll cancel out. So all that we're left with is a negative 2th minus h squared all over h. Okay, so the last part is to divide out this h. And this should happen almost every single time. You should be able to divide out an h from all the terms that are in the numerator. Every one of them is going to have an h on it, so that h will divide out evenly. If we divide the h out of the negative 2th, we're left with just negative 2t. And then if we divide out the h from the negative h squared, we're left with just negative h. So since we can't combine terms any further, this is our difference quotient. And this is a perfectly acceptable difference quotient with the h value in there and the t. Don't be fooled. Don't think that you're going to have to find like a constant value every single time like what we did with number 57. This is a perfectly acceptable answer. So this is our difference quotient, and we're all done with number 58.